My wife shoved my hand away in bed and hissed, "Don't touch me. I have self-respect." Her eyes were cold, her smile vanished, and for the first time I realized I might have been blind to the truth. Why morning? I didn't just ignore her rules. I'd set a boundary that would force a reckoning. The night began with the usual murmur of fatigue and closeness, a thin veil over something we'd both ignored too long. She climbed under the sheets, and I stepped closer, seeking the warmth we'd forged years ago. Her hand pressed away with a cold, deliberate movement, and the hiss cut through the room like glass. "Don't touch me. I have self-respect," she whispered, as if reciting a line from a script she'd memorized to keep me at bay. The line hung in the air while her eyes cooled, stripping away any hint of the intimacy we'd pretended to sustain. There's a twist in the story that no one knows about. So stay in the story. I lay still, listening to the quiet that followed. No tenderness, only the heavy thud of my own heartbeat in my ears. Her gaze traveled the room as though she could see through our walls to the secrets we'd both buried. The realization arrived not with a shout, but a whisper. I'd missed hours, days, perhaps years of signals, each one a breadcrumb that led toward the truth she'd refused to name. The truth wasn't a threat from an outsider. It was a realization I'd refused to confront about us. Morning light crawled across the floor, illuminating the gap between us like a fault line. She moved with practiced precision, pivoting from heat to cool detachment, as if she'd rehearsed this shift a dozen times. I watched her gather her things to leave for work, the ritual of daily life, continuing with a hollow rhythm. It wasn't just about space or privacy anymore. It was about what we owed each other when the layer of pretense peeled away. The truth didn't announce itself loudly. It arrived as a tremor in the quiet that I am the quiet of the kitchen. I replayed moments I dismissed as overreactions. The late-night messages, the offhand compliments she seemed to crave, the way she bristled at questions she once welcomed, the memory of her smile disappearing in the same instant her voice turned frigid haunted me. The self-respect line wasn't just rhetoric. It was a wall she'd erected to protect a truth she feared I might uncover. The more I reflected, the more obvious it became that my blindness wasn't innocence, it was avoidance. The day unfolded with a weird formality, like a courtroom drama where we played nice, while a verdict simmered just beneath the surface. I began to script boundaries in my mind, not as threats, but as declarations of what I would tolerate and what I wouldn't. If self-respect required distance, so be it. If it demanded accountability, I would demand it. The morning carried the potential for a reckoning, and I was no longer content to wait for fate to decide our fate. Conversations with friends and family floated around us, careful and cautious, as if everyone sensed a shift they couldn't name. Some urged patience, others urged action. I listened to the advice, but held tight to a core instinct. This wasn't about proving a point. It was about preserving something salvageable, ourselves first, then us. The line between love and protection grew clearer, and I realized that love without boundaries is an invitation to drift apart until there's nothing left to hold onto. I didn't rush to punish or retaliate. I chose a path of measured clarity instead. A boundary, a conversation, a plan to rebuild trust if we chose to stay. The morning after was quiet, but not empty. It was full of the weight of choices looming ahead. I reached for my phone, not to accuse, but to arrange a meeting with a counselor and a lawyer. Practical steps to navigate the maze of emotion and obligation that lay before us. If we were to stay, we'd need tools to do it right. Weeks followed with a tense cadence, moments of tenderness punctured by sudden retreats. We spoke with careful honesty, naming what we could admit and leaving what we couldn't for later. The stakes felt larger than a mere argument about affection. They touched the core of trust, respect, and the future we still hoped to share. The more we spoke, the more I understood that self-respect wasn't a solitary virtue. It required mutual recognition and courage from both of us. That a breakthrough came when she admitted that fear had driven the silence between us. Fear of revisiting old wounds and fear of losing what we'd built. The admission didn't erase the hurt, but it transformed it into a starting point. We began to act with intention, small rituals of accountability, open conversations about needs, and a commitment to repair rather than retreat. The hiss of that night lingered, yet it became the catalyst for a decision to reframe our relationship, with honesty at its center. Now, the arc of our story has shifted from a potential end to a line we're choosing to redraw. The past still carries weight, and the truth we feared remains a living thread, ready to pull us apart or pull us together. I won't pretend the road ahead is simple, but I know this. When self-respect guides the course, it's possible to rebuild with integrity, even after sharp turns. The morning after wasn't a surrender. It was an invitation to redefine us, if we both choose to answer it. Lock sunrise.